Welcome to the Daily Plunge. We are in the book of Job, chapter 3, verses 1 through 26. Remember at the end of chapter 2, his three wise friends come. They come with the wisdom of men to help him. But, they see his turmoil and they see how he's got ash on, he's ripped his clothes, he's sitting on the garbage dump, and they weep for him. And they're supposed to be there to give him comfort. But instead, they don't say anything to him for 7 days. They may speak to each other, but it tells us they do not speak with him. And it's Job who breaks the silence. And when Job speaks, he's the first one he speaks, and he speaks out of the inner turmoil, the utter desperation he's experiencing. And it's not a despair of not believing in God, of unfaith. It's not a despair of unconfessed or unforgiven sin. It's just the despair he feels, and he wants control over his birth. He wishes he could undo the past. And he curses the past, but he has no control over it. He curses the day of his birth. Again, note that he does not curse God. And he says, I wish that day would be a day of deep darkness. And that darkness is really the opposite of the light of God. It is a moment of nothingness. And it's that place of chaos instead of life. And in fact, that's one of the things he says, I wish that God did not see me and did not give me that life-giving power to put life into me. And so often we despair when we're going through failure and we reject God. Is he only utilitarian? Is he only useful if he helps me to achieve more who I want to be? And so often what's preached is a therapeutic gospel. Be all that you can be. And God is there to help me be who I am on my terms. And there's many Christians who believe this. We see this based on their attendance because, yes, they are not achieving their self-fulfillment. But life is one of trouble and unrest and distress. From birth to death, we experience this. And it is because of the wealth of many Christians in the Western world that they don't experience this, but it's true of life. And so he claims that there is a blessing of death, but it's a false blessing because death is not a blessing. It's just how wonderful it would be if I was dead. But that's a delusion, right? It's just like the delusion of suicide that said, if I die, I'll have peace. But you don't have peace. You have nothing. There's nothingness. And so the question that Job asks, like in verse 16, why? Why am I going through this? And as he's suffering and he's feeling he's in this tragic abyss, that his life is narrowed down to this little square in which he's living right now. He's experienced this God-given bitterness, and he's asking, why? Where is God in the midst of my trouble? There's no rest, no quiet, no ease. And yet the reason he's asking this question, why, is because he still believes in God. And I want you to consider that the ultimate narrowest place in all of human history was when Jesus was on the cross. And in the darkness of the cross, there continues to be the hope of rescue. Well, thanks, my friends, for listening. Have a blessed day.